So, very recently on Facebook, I got invited to my 10-year high school reunion, where everyone gets together in a room and they all meet up and talk about, you know, where they've been, and everyone gets to sort of size each other up and see who's been successful, who's had babies, who's had this, who's had that. And, you know, I guess there's, you know, I'm not really, you know, keen on that idea. I think for me, it sort of got me thinking about the whole sort of concept of you know, reunions and meeting people, you know, from your past and you know, visiting those you know, places and in your head and visiting those relationships again. And is that worth it? Can you ever truly go back? And can you you know, can anything truly change? You know, like, can time heal wounds? And I'm not necessarily sure it can in certain circumstances. And I think with high school, for me, I was not out in high school, and I wasn't someone who, I played a little bit with gender, but not as to the degree I do today. Sort of really after high school, when I sort of developed more, you know, with my understanding of gender and sexuality and all that. It sort of it came after high school. So it's a very different sort of me, I think. You know, I look at it in the sense because I as you would know, I've changed my name. And I'm now Davey. Back in the day, I was David Kemp, and I think I sort of almost look at it like two different people, you know? Like, it's sort of like Davey didn't go to my high school, and I don't know if I necessarily want to go back and revisit that identity and that person who I used to be. And I think that sort of stems from, you know, high school was a very tough place for me. You know, I had friends, and, you know, it was, you know, and we had some good times and all that, but there was certainly a lot of bad times, especially early on in high school for me. I think, you know, especially because for me, there was such an inner turmoil of the idea of, you know, coming to grips with being attracted to, you know, different genders, you know, forming who I was and understanding who I wanted to be and, you know, my place in the world, you know, and when you're growing up and you're insecure and you go into an environment where everyone else is secure and going through, you know, similar sort of thoughts, not necessarily the same, but, you know, figuring themselves out, it makes for a very rough melting pot, you know, and I think high school was some of the toughest years of my life, to be honest. So I don't know if I necessarily want to go back and visit those people again, you know, and I don't know if I necessarily can go back, you know. I don't see me doing that. So, you know, I can understand the value for some people for, you know, reconnecting and all that thing and blah blah blah, but you know what, to be honest, if I was going to stay in touch with those people and they were going to know who I was today and love and accept for me who I was today, there would have been some way they would have stayed in my life already, you know. And so for those people who are no longer in my life, or you know, for whatever reason, I'm not necessarily sad about that, you know, and I'm not necessarily sad that I'm not going to go back and make those new connections, because I feel like me moving forward and where I am and the people I know, where I work, you know, this is my future, and these are the people who I love, who are around me, and I don't know if I necessarily want to go back and visit, you know, you see where, you know, sure, great, it might be great to see, you know, like, which people picked on me who have gone bald, or who are, you know, trash, or whatever, blah, 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 or who, you know, who's become really successful, or whatever, you know, that might be great, you know, but it's not who I am anymore, and I don't think that's, you know, I'm not David Kemp anymore, and I can't go back and fill that role and try to explain to people what that means, you know. And, you know, when I'm talking about my gender identity and who I am today, it's just not who they would expect to walk through the door. And I just I ain't got the time or the energy for that. I'm sorry, but for me, I've got to move forward. So I don't think I will be going to my high school reunion. Yeah, has anyone else had those similar sort of experiences? You know, convince me, you know, if you really did love your high school reunion, or you would go to your high school reunion, why? And yeah, because to be honest, I don't see really any point. I don't think you can walk back down the road that you've walked. You know, so yeah, that was just my thoughts for the day. Yeah, and for all those people who do happen to watch me who, you know, maybe did come from my high school or this or that, you very well may know who I am now, and you would probably know that you're not looking at the same person, and I would hope you're not looking at the same person, because, you know, as much as, you know, I was a very insecure kid in high school, and I was very much, you know, not a bully, but there were certain things that I do regret that I've said to people, I've done to people as well, and it's just a totally different personality. So I yeah, anyway, moving forward, yeah, let me know, would you attend your high school reunion? Do you think it's worth reconnecting to those people? Yeah, or am I insane, or am I sort of making sense? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna go out and enjoy some op shopping. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I'll talk to you all later. Bye bye.